Hey guys, how's it going? Oh man, it's been a while since you guys have seen this tractor. This is my 1969 John Deere Patio Red 112. About, I want to say, 2 years ago, I bought this tractor and I kind of repainted it, restored it, repainted it. I'm going to say restored, but repainted it. Saved it from underneath of a guy's bush out in his front yard. When I got it, it was, I kind of started tearing into it before I even filmed it when I first got it. It was just kind of one of those things that I wanted and was excited for, and once I got it, I kind of started tearing into it. It was a green tractor when I bought it. It is now white, which it should be. It's got a patio tag on it. Basically what's going on is the church that we go to, I'm sure that you guys who are watching me know of Vice Grip Garage, Junkyard Digs, Junkyard Mook. She's hot, by the way. What they do is they work on older cars and whatever, and they take them to shows. They get them running and they'll drive them cross country, or they'll drive them to shows. Basically what I'm going to do is they are doing, for Father's Day is this coming Sunday. Today is actually Sunday. Today's the 5th. Today when I'm filming this. So basically what they're doing is they're doing a thing where everybody can drive their antique car or antique truck or old bike, whatever, to the church and show them off. I had it okayed before I sent a message to one of the people that I know that works at the church. I said, everybody there knows that I'm into these older tractors. I don't know how, but I sent him a message, and he said, man, I was kind of figuring you would send me a message. And so I sent him some pictures of some stuff I've got, and I had it okayed so I can take a tractor, or a few tractors there if I wanted. My plan is to take this tractor, my 74 112. I think Josh said something about taking his Sears. My plan is to take this tractor. However, if that plan fails, I would like to get that tractor running, but if I can't get that tractor running in a week, before that I'll take the Homelight, because the Homelight's kind of cool, and I'm sure that a lot of people would like this tractor, being it's the 10th one that was ever built. So yeah. I guess what we need to do now is we need to go over this tractor and we need to look at it and see what all needs done and what we need to do to get it running again. So here we go. So I guess what we should do is we should start checking things out in the obvious stuff that I can see. Just kind of, man, what do you call that? I can't think of it. Just look around at cosmetics and see how everything looks. Basically what we need to do, this tractor has no decals, and we need to find either a better hood to throw on it or fix this one somehow. I need to find a way to get the hood to stay down. I've been using this bungee rope right here, and that's been working just fine, but I'm worried that while it's sitting there, I'm going to keep an eye on it, but I'm worried while it's sitting there somebody's going to try to open the hood. I'm going to put notes on them, on my tractors, that say do not touch. That way I don't have to worry about anything, but I know people are still going to touch it, they're still going to sit on it, so I would like to get something figured out for that, and if I can't, well then, I guess it's fine. That's the way life goes. I think last time that we messed with this tractor, I've got to remember what all we did. And what still needs done. It's got no carb. I don't know if that, I doubt that fuel pump's any good. I'll have to replace that probably. No points. I think if I remember, I think that engine needs a head gasket actually. Looking at it now, I think it does need a head gasket. I might have to do that. I might replace the head gasket. It definitely needs some work. It's not perfect. The tank is not bolted down. I wonder, it's got no fuel line. It's gonna need a fuel line. No starter. It's got no starter on it. That must have went onto something. I think this engine came off of the 68, and I pretty much took everything off of it to put on that engine. I don't know if that solenoid's any good. We'll have to test that and find out. Well, here's our battery wire. Is it already on there? No, it's not. So I guess we'll have to throw a battery on this, and we'll have to see if our where's the wire? What wire goes to the on here? I bet you that goes to the. What does that go to? There's one. Looks like there's one. Yeah, there's another one floating around. What do these go to? Do they go to this regulator? Oh, I know what they go to. They go to. Oh, yeah. I think these. Oh, I know what they're for. That's for the regulator. When I took this engine out of that tractor, the regulator on it was kind of. I had to make my own wires, so we'll have to fix that. Engine. Is it bolted down? I thought it was, but I don't think it is. No, it's not bolted down. Okay. I might take the engine back out. I might leave it in there. I need to find a starter for it. It's gonna have to come out. I think I have a starter. I have to look. It needs a carb. I don't think I have a carb, but I'll have to look again and see. Points. It looks like it needs a condenser as well. Well, it's got the screws for the points, which is good. It needs a fuel line. I think pretty much everything on here is done. We gotta mess with that tire up in the front. Like I said, the valve stem for the tube I put in that tire got sucked in, so I gotta fix that. This one, what wire goes to the... Here we go. That's the wire that I was looking for. That goes to here. One of these goes here. One of them goes there. And then the other one, that might be for the, what's this one? What is that? I don't know. It's a wiring nightmare under here. I gotta find the one that goes to the, I don't know where anything goes on here. I'd have to look. I'm looking for the one that goes to the solenoid. Nah, I think it's this one, which is conveniently missing a crimp. Is it the yellow wire or the red wire? It's the red wire. Orange wire, my bad. Where does the orange wire go? Is this it? Yep, that's it. That one goes there. I know the engine runs. It's been a little while since that engine has run. Ooh. We're missing that. Nut. That's wonderful. Oh no, we're not. There's one. It's got oil. This engine, if I remember right, burns oil. So, it shouldn't take a whole lot to get going again. I think the only reason it burns oil is because of the rings. It might be because that head gasket's blown out too. So, I guess, take that and throw that on there, and we'll throw a battery in it and listen to that and see if it clicks, and if it clicks, then we are in the green. We know that section's good. The motor's going to have to come out to run to put the starter on. Maybe while the engine's out, we'll look it over and see how the engine looks and get everything that needs to be put on it on it. Again, it really doesn't have to run. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm starting to wonder if I should have, if I even should have said anything until I started getting into it. It shouldn't be too hard to get going again. Let me look around and see what I have. Let me see if I have a starter. Let me see if I don't have a coil. I'll have to get a coil for it. Points. I think I have a set of points, and I think I have a condenser, so I should be good there. I got to get all the decals for it. I think I know where the decals are, so that should be okay. But yeah. And once I do that, we will get into it and we will get it back into shape. Hopefully one of these screws will work, and if both of them end up working, there we go. We've got one to hold the cover on. Let's find out. I was going to screw it in up there, but I'll just do it down here since this is, we've already got the points started on there. Screw it in there to make sure it fit. Threads, it doesn't seem like it wants to thread. And the screwdriver is pathetic and doesn't seem like it wants to help me all that much either. Alright, time for another one. I'll be back. Another thing that we need to do, I don't think I said it on camera, is we need to rig up a muffler for the tractor, some kind of exhaust. That way it's not blowing soot all over my uprights, as well as I'd like it to be a little bit quieter, because I know for a fact it's going to be pretty loud once we get it up and get it running. Come on, man, does it really have to be that? I'm just going to do it in this one, just to make sure it'll thread into it. It might even be, I can't even get into it. I don't want that to come out. I wish I'd have just left a set of points on this engine, then I wouldn't have to do this. Cool. It'll thread in. So now we just got to figure out why we're having so many issues. And then I also don't have the screws for, or the bolts for the carb, but I think if I'm correct, they're just half-inch head bolts, or they're 9/16. They're one of them too. So I should be able to just grab a couple 9/16. They look like 9. They might be half. I'll just grab a couple of 1/2-inch bolts and a couple of 9/16 bolts, figure out which ones fit. And once I figure out which ones fit and hold, or fit into the thing and thread in good, I'll just take them and I'll probably grab the grinder, because I don't, like I said before, I don't have the correct bolts for that. Man, what the fuck? And after I do that, we'll just take them, take the heads, and we'll grind a line into them. That way I can remove them with the screwdriver, like how you can with the ones that already go with it. Because I do like being able to do that. Tight, that tight. I ordered one of them, so I can take that off. Got two different screws. I did end up finding the correct one in my drawer, so I can change that. I think what I'll do for the exhaust is I'll have a 90 come off of here and go back, because if I run it out through here, I'm going to run into this, and I know someone's going to say it. I'm not running it down and out through here. That's not happening. Grab a 90 or something, I can run it out straight. Maybe a 120. That almost looks like a 120. I might be able to put a 120 in there and have it run out straight. But if not, then 90. Put a 90-degree bend in here or a 120-degree bend and just run it out straight. With a 90, it'll go out that way towards me. But if I do a 120, it'll come out maybe straight. It's just a matter of finding one and getting it in there without running into all this stuff. I was going to take the motor out, but I'm going to leave the engine in there since it's already in there, and I don't really want to scratch all the tin work up. So I'm just going to leave it alone. Points are in. I should take that off and make sure that the points turn. I hate working on this thing because my hands are always dirty. And I always get dirt everywhere, it seems. Oh boy. Man, why is it? There it goes. I was going to say, why does that not want to turn? Well, they open. They're way over 20. Let me grab my feeler gauges and we'll check our adjustments. I really would like to take the valve cover off and check the valves, as well as check the head gasket. But I don't have another head gasket. I do have a head gasket, but I don't know how it is. I really don't want to take that head off of there unless I absolutely have to. Yeah, it's open a little bit too much. I'll take that and close it up a little bit. This has the head that I don't like, which is wonderful. That's still open a little much for me. I'm gonna put it right there. I think it's fine right there. That's good right there. I like that. I'm happy with that. Yeah, for whatever reason later on, now all the points have a Phillips head screw and they're all brass or whatever that is now instead of like they used to be. So that's all done and that's all set. I want to stick this in here and make sure it'll thread into here, because more than likely that's going to end up holding on to the cover. No thread. Oh, there it goes. I was going to say it must have different threads than what that has. So I could run the condenser to the points if I wanted to, or... Oh man, this tractor doesn't have a throttle assembly either. I'm going to have to order one of those. Well, shit. I didn't even think about that. I'll probably just run the cable right to this and just... Whenever I want to go full throttle, just do that, or just don't rev it up. Yeah, we might be in trouble. I'll have to find that assembly, and if I find that assembly, we'll get it put on there. I think I'm just going to run this off of the coil. I should probably go on ahead and look for one of those, actually, since I'm thinking about it now. But I'll probably just run this up to the coil instead of run it off of the points. I'm not sure when all that stuff's going to be here. I can't really think of anything that needs to be done on here, except for the engine needs to be bolted down. Now that I'm looking at it, it looks almost like it's not. lined up. It's not. So I think the next thing to do, right there. I think the next thing we do is we need to find, like I said before, we need to find a couple of bolts to stick in there. I'm just gonna grab a couple half-inch bolts, and if that don't work, one of these bolts is not like the others. Half-inch. I might need them to be a little bit longer, actually. I guess we'll have to see. Yeah, I might need them to be a little bit longer than that, because there has to be enough room on there for the carb. There might be, but we'll have to see. I might just tighten them up with them. Well, I'm gonna have to put indents in them, I guess, but I want to make sure they'll actually work before I do anything with them. So I guess the next thing to do is we're going to look for one of these. I'm also going to source a thing for that. I'll probably have to run store tonight and see if I can find one of those. So yeah, so far everything's going together okay. And then I also brought some bolts up. I'm going to mount the engine down since I'm sitting here thinking about it. Oh, actually, before I do that, we should get the starter put in. Well, I have no idea if this starter works or not. I don't even know what the starter came off of. I think it came off of a gray blade, but I'm not too sure. I know it came off a Kohler. So are you guys ready to see if this starter works? Ready? Contact. It sounds okay. I wish it wouldn't have jumped at me like that. It made that noise. And I'd know if it was good or not. Didn't sound good though. We might have to take it apart. If we're lucky, it was a bad ground. Let's try again. I'm gonna up my voltage a little bit. Ready? Contact. Okay, what is doing that? Why is it making that noise? I wonder if the brushes are dirty. It could also be because that's bouncing around, and that terminal needs cleaned. Could be because that's bouncing around and causing it to have trouble getting power. We'll just let me clean this up back here. Maybe that'll help me some. I doubt that will. I'll probably have to take this apart and clean the brushes on it. If I don't have to, I won't, but we'll see. Took a starter up front and cleaned up the connections on it a little bit. Let's go on ahead and give it another shot, and let's see what happens. Ready? Contact. Well, yeah, we might end up having to take the brushes. Conveniently, I don't have another starter. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe we'll just stick it on there and say, I mean, it turns good. Let's just put it on the tractor. I know I'm going to regret that. Let's just put it on the tractor and let's try turning that engine over with it and see what happens, if it turns it over or not. Well, let's give it a shot. More than likely we're going to end up having to take it all back apart because, well, the starter won't turn it over. It wouldn't surprise me if that happens. Oh well. I still don't know if that solenoid's any good. I thought about ordering one last night, but I'm just going to go with that one. Hopefully we get lucky, but I don't think it really ever happens all that much. go. Let's start a fire. In there. Here's our positive. Here's our negative. That's promising. It could be dead though at the same time. We'll turn it on, we'll watch everything, and we'll see what happens. This tractor, the headlights don't work, so I can't test the power. Thought I saw the ammeter move. That's promising. It's got a little bit of power. Battery might be dead, but at least I know that solenoid works. So in that case, come over here and clean that up. Or not clean that up. God damn it. Plug this in. Oh, shit. That's loose. Hitting that down. Negative. This is positive. This is negative. That's our sad. Let's take this, drop it down. I don't want to do 100 amps quite yet. I want to do I hear it, so it's taking charge. Ready? God damn it, I'm going to steal the key out of something. Takes me too long to piss with my keys. Let's try this. Ready? Is the motor even turning over? I can't see it. Nope. Damn it, just like I figured. Well, you know, we do it right because we do it twice. Comes into say here. We should have took that apart and we should have checked the brushes, but you know, it seemed like it kicked in real good until it jumped around. Well, let's take a look at this guy and let's see what he has to offer. And if we mess this up, well, we're in trouble because I can't find one reasonably priced. So if we end up messing this up, I'm gonna have to start selling sperm in order to be able to afford it. So let's see if we can get this off of here without taking it too far. I'm gonna leave this on. There's no reason to take it off. I thought about it and just cleaning that up and seeing what that does, but that moves. It moves just fine, so I don't see why. And plus it's making some internal noises anyway, so we gotta open it up and look. As long as the brushes are still good, we should be okay. It's not hot to the touch, so I mean it's not a, what's it called? So it might be okay. It's not wore out. Gotta get rid of it somehow, I guess. Gotta be able to open it, so we just gotta get rid of it. There it goes. There. Must be some kind of lock. That might be what it is. Ooh. That don't look terrible. It looks like the brushes all stayed in place. I found a spring. Oh, I think it went to that. Overall, it doesn't look terrible inside. Let me see if I can get it to split. It's gonna have to. There we go. I just didn't want to. Yeah, the brushes don't look horrible. Well, I might need some help. But they don't look bad. We should be okay. I think as long as I clean up get all the metal debris out of here, I think we should be able to get it going again and continue using it. I might take the brushes and clean them up. I'm just going to leave them alone actually. But none of the brushes look like they have broken wires, which is good. That means that that section of it's good. We shouldn't run into any issues there. So, yeah. There we go. I'm missing a spring. Where's the fourth spring at? I need it so I can put that one back together. Oh, great. I don't see it on the floor. It's not in here. I know it's here somewhere. I just gotta look for it. Unless it didn't come out. But it's not in there. I'm going to take this and I'm going to clean it out real good. And then I'm going to take this and wire wheel it and get it looking good. And then after I do that, we'll probably end up taking this assembly off right here and looking into that and seeing how it looks. I'll bring you guys back when I'm done because there's not really a whole lot to show off with that. Just wire wheeling and cleaning up. That's really about it. I cleaned up the starter and I've run into an issue. So we're going to have to do something about that. We might be able to get away with it being like that, but I took this up front and I cleaned it up, as y'all can see. I'd say it looks fairly good. I haven't messed with this end of it yet. I've just done the back and cleaned up this. I need to take this up front and blow it out too. I blew the chamber out. That way I could get all the metal shavings out and magnetic shavings. That way it wouldn't eat itself up any further. I would say it looks okay. Part of the magnet's missing, but I think I should be okay with that being the way it is. If I have to, I think I have another one of these around here somewhere I can throw in there and use, just that way I have a good magnet. But yeah, I'm going to take this up front, I think, and I'm going to blow it out with the air compressor as well. I am not sure at the moment if I want to take and clean up. I don't really think I can clean these up. I think they're fine the way that they are. I would clean them up though, but I really don't think that there's a way to, and I don't really think it'd be worth my time. So it'd probably be a good idea to do it though, just, you know, that way they're good and clean and get a good connection. But I'm probably just going to leave them alone. That bearing down, that bushing down there feels fine. But yeah, that up there that's going to have to be addressed. If I'm lucky, I might be able to get away with it. So let me take this up front. I'm going to blow this out real good. That way we can get no magnetic, no shavings in there floating around and eating things up. So yeah. I took that up front and I cleaned it out with the air compressor. It definitely looks a lot better. Got all the shavings out of it, so hopefully it should last me a little bit longer. I'm going to guess this starter, whatever it was on, is probably the original to it. So it's probably over 50 years old. So here, I went up front and grabbed some springs. Oh, look at that. I found all four. Nice. So We don't need them. I still might use them. I'm looking at these brushes and I'm debating on whether, I wonder if I can flip them over, but I'm really starting to wonder if I need to replace them or not. I mean, they don't look bad. Again, the bearing up here is no good, and I looked around for another bearing plate and I don't think I have one of that style. So, yeah, we're going to have to go with what we've got. I guess how it does. If it does good or has issues. It was a little bit better. As long as it kicks it out enough to engage the flywheel, that is all I'm after, to be honest with you guys. There we go. There we go. And I'll end up pumping some grease into the bushings as well, such as the bearing up here. I think that's a bearing. I'm not sure if that's a bearing or a bushing, but I think this down here is a bushing, so I'll pump some grease into, or oil into that. And after we do that, we can get this thing put back together. I'm just going to go on ahead and start putting all the springs in. Then we got to find a way to hold the springs down. Somebody used, I've used zip ties before doing this, and I've also done it with duct tape, holding the things down, because these brushes do tend to be a pain in the ass when it comes to getting them back in and getting them to hold themselves down. Can't put that in there because of that. Get off of my finger. Trying to keep the original springs, but these other ones look a little bit nicer. There we go. So now let me get, is that down all the way? No, it is. So I'm still kind of iffy about whether I'm probably going to end up having to replace or even flip these over. And I hope I can do that without having issues. Just flip them around and well, see what happens. Let me grab my tape and we'll get them taped in there, and after we get it back together, I don't have any zip ties. I just got to remember what tape I used. I think I used electrical tape the first time that I did it. I don't think I have a reason. I think I just used it. We got to be careful. We don't want to rip it up. You know, we don't want to ruin the. We don't want to ruin the brush. There we go. Hopefully that'll hold it into a spot, which it seems like it is. So that's good. And we'll get the next one lined up, and after we get the next one lined up and ready to go, get the next one lined up and ready, get it dropped in. There we go. As long as we don't cover up where the bushing is, we should be okay. That's really what I'm trying to avoid, is covering that up. That way we can get the Bendix in. And now we gotta get these two. I've got experts that have done this for years, probably watching me right now. This is the second, I want to say this is the second or third starter that I've had apart. Watching me right now saying, man, he's a dumbass for the way he's doing it. I could have done it like this and it would worked just fine. But this is the way I'm going to do it. Again, a new starter is $80. I'm not putting that money into this. I'm not putting that money into a starter that I can't trust. So I'm going to pump some oil in here. And then when that goes in, it should move it around for me. Let's get this picked up off of the tape. You know, you're supposed to put the housing over top of this before you set that down. That would be wise, wouldn't it? There we go. Then we'll just take this and stick it in. And I think now we can go ahead and remove our duct tape. I just want to make sure that it looks like it's down, which it does. I can't leave the tape in there as much as I want to. We'll probably have to just try something different because I don't think this is going to work. There we go. That one worked. And of course, I don't know if they're going to stay in there or not. Once again, they're just... This is a 50-50 shot. It's 50-50, you know, either they're going to stay or they're going to pop out. Actually, it looks like they're going to pop out looking at it right now, because that's not sitting flush. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work, unfortunately. Well, now it is. So I mean, it might. Just gotta get this duct tape out. Well, there we go. We're getting there. As badly as I want to, I can't let go of that. Because if I do, I'm worried that it's going to fly right back up, and there we go, I've just lost all my progress. I'm going to start that one. I'm going to get one started, or both. That way we can get this thing back together quicker. And after we do that, yeah, it's down together, so I should be, hopefully it should be in line and everything should be all set. I'm hoping that the what's it called is still, all the brushes are still where they need to be in their grooves. Again, I can't check unless I take it back apart, which, what's the point in doing that? If I put it back together and it doesn't end up working right, I'll check that. But there we go. Now since I have that in there, we should be able to take that. No, of course, that's in my way. No. Shit. Well, we might be in trouble here. This is on the wrong side, and I completely forgot that doing that I won't be able to move this around. I didn't even think about that. I really just want to get the tape out. That's all I'm trying to do. And as long as nothing sticks around in there, we should be okay. Let's see. More than likely, I'm just going to end up ordering another one of these. I'm sure I'll find a reason to. I know damn well I'll find a reason to and just say, well, I guess we'll just do it this way, and maybe I'll go order one over there in China, where everything comes from anymore. Because our government doesn't want our country to succeed, so they send everything everywhere else to be done, of course, and not here. So, okay, this isn't going to work. It almost seems like my brush is released or let go or something, because, well, I can't find the threads, and apparently this is sitting up too tall. There we go. Where is that at? Maybe this is off. It could be. Hopefully that's what it is. Where's the... I don't want to do that. Where's the thing at? Is it right there? Am I threading into it? You have got to be fucking with me. If I like... Oh shit. Well, I hope that didn't release. I don't want to tighten them up too tight. I just want to get it in there. Shit. Hopefully that doesn't happen over here. I need to be able to get the duct tape out. I mean, completely out, not let it rip up like that did. That's a spring. Well, I guess we have to take it back apart, and I figured we would have to do that. Take it back apart and find out what happened. Everything looks okay, but I think we caught on one, and that one was my downfall. Man, if it wouldn't have done that, well, luckily I have extra springs. But if it wouldn't have done that, we'd have been just fine. Well, let's give it another shot, since it did work. It kind of worked. Not great. But I mean, it worked. We'll do this again and hold it down like so. Get that down in. Because I don't want to grab another spring. I guess that was my fault. I'm not sure where I caught it at. I saw that at first, I thought it was a wire. And I thought, well, shit. Of course, they're not going to stay where they need to be now. They know where it got them last time. They did. Just do this. There we go. As long as that one stays there, I'll be happy. And we'll just come in. And we'll go for this one right here. Make it a hell of a lot easier if all I had to do was just slide it in. I'm sure there's a tool for doing this. I don't know what that tool is. I don't have that tool. I don't do enough of these to need it. It's just kind of, every once in a while I'm into one, looking at it to find out what went wrong in a situation like this, you know, just take it apart, clean it up, and see what failed, and then after you find out what failed and you've swore at it a few times, it goes back together and your rage just builds up. And then you sit there and wonder, why the hell did I do this instead of just buy a new one when the new one is $80? Yeah, they want $80 for a new starter. I couldn't believe it. I don't know what they want for a rebuild kit, but I'm not looking. I don't need it. I could make something if I wanted to hold these down, I'm sure. It wouldn't be that hard. It's just a matter of, do I really want to put the time into doing that? And you got to remember too, you know, I only have a week. I can't really do a whole lot. I have to... What one didn't click in? That one. And why didn't you click in? Go in your hole. For Christ's sake. Any other ones pissed off? That one. So far the only one I can seem to find is that one, but that one... Come on, where's the hole? Let's see if we can get this out of here. Now, I'll bring you guys back once I'm done. Well, I just finished cleaning that starter up and got it all put back together. Let's go on ahead and see if the thing works. And if it works, well, then great. Hopefully, we'll end up getting some life out of it, but I guess we'll see. It should work. I don't see why it wouldn't. Everything in it looked just fine. Seemed like after I shut the camera off, everything went back together easier, so I just finished. Get it all back together. Ready? Contact. There we go. That definitely sounds a lot better. Let's throw that on the tractor and let's see what we get. I'm definitely happy with that. That did really good. I think you guys already know how this is going to go. So I'm going to go on ahead and get the starter put on the engine. Once I get the starter put on the engine, I'll bring you back. Well, moment of truth. Got the starter put back in. Let's see what happens. When we cranked it over after I rebuilt it, it seemed like it did pretty good. So let's give it another shot. Ready? Wow, that does really good. And all I did was clean the brushes and the rotor. That's good. So it looks like it's all set and ready to go. Everything on the tractor is done, squared away. I'm happy. I think the only thing now that we need to do is we need to get a wire. Well, I can't do anything right now until I have a carb, and I can't do anything until I have a coil, and I can't do anything until I have a throttle set up, and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna have to source some pieces. I'm gonna have to look around for some pieces and some parts. I don't think I have a throttle set up for one of these, so I'm gonna have to look. Worst comes to worst, I could always just run the throttle linkage right to the governor arm and use it that way, which I really don't want to do, but if I have to, I will. I think the next thing that needs to be done is that engine needs to be bolted down because, well, it's in. Let me just do this one more time. This is the first time an engine has ever been turned over in this tractor since I've owned it. Which is still really cool to me. Why is the PTO engaged? Okay, so it won't disengage. That's interesting. Might be because the engine's not bolted down. So I think that's what I'm going to do now, is I am going to get the whatever needs done finished. I need to put the belt onto that pulley. I can do that right now, actually, since I'm staring at it. I'm going to take this off of here. Still look like that was holding it. That had to hold it. Oh, that just came out. Okay, that's wonderful. You know, it would help a lot if the brake was engaged. If I engage the parking, it'll move the variator up, causing it easier to do. This engine, for whatever reason, does not want to turn. I'm starting to wonder why. What is that? My belt. What was that? I hope something didn't just spark. Oh. That's wonderful. Can we get it away from that? Yeah, we can. So this was touching. This was on the positive terminal of the solenoid. Man, thanks for pointing that out. Glad I caught that. I saw the zap and I thought, whoa, that shouldn't do that. I was thinking, well, maybe a wire is touching somewhere. Nope, here to find out, it just, what's it called, decided to arc. You know what? I'm not fighting with that. Let's just, man, I don't want to touch it. Let's just get the bolts put in for the engine. That way the engine can be bolted down. And once the engine is bolted down, we can go from there. So the engine is supposed to be held down by 4 bolts. However, I think since I chopped the front of it off to get the engine to be able to mount, I have a bad feeling that we're only going to have the 2 bolts in the back. We're not going to be able to use the bolt holes up in the front. Because I think if I remember right, I'd have to pull the engine in order to find out, which I really don't want to do, since we're just about ready to set it up in there. And of course, I don't have my ratchet, but we're just about ready to set the engine in. Or actually, the engine is all set in and ready to go. We just got to get this in. So I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm not gonna mess with nothing. If something ends up needing done, well, you know the old saying, we do it right because we do it twice. So let's get this engine bolted in here. I gotta remember how these go. It's been a little while since I've pulled an engine, let alone put an engine in. little bit has happened since you guys have been gone. I kind of started messing with this thing. I forgot to hit record on the camera and just kind of started playing with it. And by the time I realized it was too late, so oh well. I got the belt put back on the tractor. The belt is hooked up to the engine, going back to the transmission around the variator. I adjusted the variator, I stuck that back on. The PTO assembly is still off of the tractor. I have not put it back on. Currently, I have also not put a wire from the points to a coil yet. I don't have an ignition system on this tractor yet. I know that I talked about that before. One thing that still needs done on this tractor is the decals need to be put on it. I'm not too sure yet if I want to get the decals put on it or if I just want to hold off on that for a little while. But I do have the decals, and it would probably be wise to just go on ahead and put them on it. That way it has the decals, and I don't know, it makes it look a little bit cooler. So that's probably what I'll do next. I guess we'll see. I got the gas tank put in also. I have not run a fuel line from here to there. I thought about doing it, but I thought maybe I should wait. I'm currently looking for a muffler. I don't have a muffler for this at the moment. I've been looking around to see if I can find something to rig up to it to get it to work. But like I said, right now that's kind of what's holding me up. I went in there and grabbed my cutters. Let's get into it. So let's start with this end right here. Horribly worried about putting lamps. I never do. They never really seem to help anything to me. It always seems like they make things worse. But that's on there. I'll just run it around and down. I can probably go on ahead and cut it. Where do I want to cut it though? That's the thing. Through. I still haven't figured out man, what are those called? I can't think of it. I haven't figured out I know I'll think of it. A place to put a coil yet or a throttle setup for this tractor. That's what it is. So I'm going to have to figure something out here for that. And then I need to run a line. I could probably actually get enough off of here after I put the fuel filter on there to just cut it off down here and run it from there from the pump to the carb. So I'm just going to leave it like that for now. And looking around, I need to take all these grease fittings and see if they take grease. And if they all take grease, I need to grease this tractor up real good. So I will be back and I'll get this tractor greased up. The goal is to try and not make a mess. I don't know how it's going to go, but we'll see. I'm going to try not to get everything covered in grease, if I can. Ready? Taking it. There we go. Cool. It's got grease in it now. Everything seems like it's all taking grease. So that's good. Get this cleaned off. Now after this, I need to run underneath of it and grease a couple things. There we go. I'm glad that those took grease though. That does make me happy. And now I need to run underneath of the tractor. I don't know if I'll film that or not. More than likely, I'll probably just go on ahead and do all the greasing and oiling off camera. You guys know where all the grease fittings are and how to grease stuff. So I'll go on ahead and do it off camera, and I'll bring you back after I'm done, okay? Well, ran out to the store and I got one of these adapters here, 45-degree angle. I think it's either that or something else. So we're gonna try that. We're gonna see what that does. Let's see if it'll thread in. If it'll thread in and work, then cool. Well, so far it looks like it'll line up right, so we might be good. I'm gonna get it as tight as I can. I don't want to stretch the tractor up too much. I'm being really careful with it. I'm sure you guys all saw in the last clip I washed this tractor off. I wanted to get it looking nice because it was starting to show fingerprints and I just didn't really like the way it looked. Perfect. Look at that. We've got a 1/4 inch to spare. Shit. Oh well. That's fine. It's gonna wobble a little bit, but well, we're okay as long as that's threaded in. Not really a whole lot I can do about that. Let me put the hood on it and I'll move you guys up. I wish that I had the factory muffler for it, but you know, gotta do what you gotta do, and that was only $3. So I liked that idea better. I found one of the correct mufflers, but it was sold. And I couldn't find a model number on it, so you guys ready to see what this looks like? I'm trying not to look, but I've already seen it and I'm not a huge fan of it. It don't look too bad. I would like to move this back a little bit, but I really can't. It's gonna look kind of funny, you know, but I mean, it works. It's gonna have to be like that, I guess. So. Oh well, no big deal. I'll have to go in here and tighten that up or put a clamp on it or something to keep it from moving around. But yeah, we've got a muffler on it now, and I guess it's going to work until I'm ready to find a new muffler for it or find the correct muffler. So yeah, cool. Well, I took another look at this hood, and I started looking around to see if I could find another hood. I found this one upstairs. I was trying to remember what this hood came off of. I think this actually came off the 110, judging by that, and I stuck a different hood on that 110 because I was thinking about using this hood on my patio, because as you can see, it's in a lot nicer shape here. The only issue is it has this little nick. So I had an idea for that. Duct tape fixes everything, right? So let's see if we can fix this little stupid spot, and maybe we'll paint over it, and we'll just see how it looks. If it looks good, well, perfect. If it doesn't, well, damn. I don't know how long this is going to stick around for. I would like to find a little bit nicer hood, but this hood will work. This hood's going to get painted over, so I'm not too terribly worried about the paint. About the paint and how the paint looks. Yeah, see, as long as it goes down. Let's just see if we can. Let's just see if we can get it to work. Doesn't look too bad so far. It's just getting it to bend to this curve. There we go. There we go. That looks good. That don't look too bad, actually. I mean, I hope nobody notices it, but again, you gotta do what you gotta do, you know. Yeah, that don't look too bad. Take that and paint it over and leave it like that for a while until that falls apart and I end up needing to fix that spot and start yelling at something. Actually, while I'm here, we could go on ahead and get this little crack up here as well. Just has a little fixer. Smother it in paint and get it to fix, but So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this hood. I'm going to paint this hood. And once I'm done, we'll look at it and see how it looks. Your battery light's flashing. I'm going to do some sanding. I'm going to take some sandpaper and just sand on this a little bit to get the green paint kind of roughed up. That way the new paint will stick to it. And once I do that, we'll take this hood and stick it on the tractor and see how it looks. Hood-wise, it definitely needs some help. But other than that, it looks really good actually. The decals turned out really nice. Gotta thank my mom for helping me with those. She's done decals before and I really haven't. That was kind of my first time. I didn't do too bad when it came to the hood decal, but I really needed help with this one here. I was really having some trouble with getting it to lay out flat. And then while she was out here, she did this one down here too. So yeah, everything turned out nice. And then I can't remember who did that one. One of us did that one. So the only decal I'm missing is a decal for here. I am also missing one. I'd like to get one that goes right there, but I don't think I can find one quick enough to get on here. So we might just have to roll without that one. I'm debating on taking the hubcaps off or just leaving them on there. Well, taking the hubcaps off and trying to clean them up a little bit. These ones back here I want to get the dents out of. This one up here I want to clean the paint up on and get them to shine because they really don't shine too good. The shine has been pulled out of them. And probably while I'm doing that, take that out right there and either repaint it or just keep it out. It really doesn't need to be in there. So, but yeah, right now it's just kind of little things like that. I'm trying to decide what I want to do on. I've got a coil now for it. I don't have a carb yet. I'm still waiting on that and a fuel pump, but I do have a coil for it. So I guess we can go on ahead and put the coil on the tractor if we wanted to and get that all set up and get it to have spark. So yeah, we just might go on ahead and do that. Well guys, it probably looks a little bit different than the last time you guys have seen it. Did a little bit of work to it off camera. I've just kind of been coming out every here and now doing stuff to it. I kind of started getting bored of it, pulling the camera out and having to fight with it in order to get going. And plus it seemed like when I pulled the camera out, things just didn't go right. So I just kind of started doing it off camera. I've gotten into a bad habit of doing that. I really need to pull the camera out more. Some things that have happened while you guys have been away. A carburetor has been ordered and put on the tractor. I do not have any linkages running to the carb at the moment. I'm sure you guys can see that. I need to go through and fix my linkages. I just don't have the time to do it. I wanted to do it, but I just don't have the patience or ambition right now to go through and fix my linkages. Neither linkage is hooked up to anything that has anything to do with the carb right now. You can see the choke has no linkage going to it. The throttle has no linkage going to it. It's just right now, it's gonna idle. That's just about it. It's gonna idle around for a while. Once I'm ready to get it back into it and figure out what's going on with my linkages, I will. I need to find a couple of holders, a holder for my choke and a holder for my throttle. I don't have a throttle holder or a choke holder. I really don't actually have the correct piece under there right now to hold the linkage or the spring that pulls back on the linkage. I took a governor arm. I really felt bad doing this, but I took a governor arm and I cut the bottom of it off where the linkage from the spring hooks up to the arm to pull the arm back and throttle the engine up. I really felt bad doing it, but I really didn't have a choice because I didn't have anything to put under there to hold the governor or to work the governor if I put a throttle linkage on. So right now, I don't have a linkage running to it. It's also got a fuel pump. No gas in the tank right now. I still haven't put any gas in the tank at the moment. I need to do that. Just kind of been looking everything over, looking at every possible thing I can, making sure that the tractor is all set and ready to go before I put gas in it and risk a leak and ruin my paint, as well as just kind of going over everything because it doesn't feel right to me. It really doesn't feel right looking at the tractor right now. It looks really good. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it looks really good, and right now it's probably one of my best looking tractors, but the problem is right now that it currently Just it's been a couple years. I've never seen this tractor run. I've never driven this tractor before. I've never been able to crank that key and have an engine turnover in it. Best looking paint wise, but to be honest with you, I really like the look of patina. You guys know that if you've been around the channel, I don't like freshly painted stuff. I used to have a 72 112. I'm not going to say I really hated that tractor. I really didn't like that tractor because it was freshly painted. I like the look of patina, like this tractor. I like the look of this. Not perfect. It's not, if it gets scratched up, I'm not too worried about it. Like that. That one looks good too. If it gets scratched up, you know, I'm not too terribly worried about it. This one's kind of one that I'm going to keep safe and I'm going to keep protected. I'm probably going to take the same care of that one as I do the Patio. But yeah, I like my 68 112 as well. That one's got a lot of rust to it. And it doesn't exactly look pretty and it's not perfect. It's nice. I like having I even try keeping footprints off of it. I keep footprints off, handprints off. I'm always out here wiping the thing down, it seems. So I really don't like fresh painted stuff. And I know I've said that before. I like my tractors that, you know, haven't been freshly painted, don't look very nice, and are got some patina to them like that. Like this. So, but yeah, fresh paint and I just don't get along, so I don't paint stuff. I don't buy freshly painted stuff and I don't paint stuff. So usually stuff that I buy, I always look at stuff that's kind of got some rust to it. I don't really look at nice stuff, to be honest with you guys. And I know you guys know how I am when it comes to my tractors, so it's better off for me to have stuff that's not quite nice. I put a set of points on the tractor. It has a coil now and the condenser is mounted. I'm sure you can see the coil down there and the coil wire. No gas in it, like I said. Ammeter works, I found out, which is good. I put a deer emblem in my steering wheel. I took the one out of my 70 140. I really hated to do that because I'm pretty sure that's the original medallion to that tractor. I also found out, speaking of, that 140 is original. I was on the phone with the guy I bought it off yesterday. He was telling me it used to be his sister's. And, well, a friend of his, and then his sister's, and then he had to rebuild the engine for it. It was his sister's husband, I think. I'm not quite sure who it was. But he told me that he rebuilt the engine for him, and the guy that he rebuilt it for passed away, unfortunately. So he ended up holding on to the tractor and just took the motor back out of it that he rebuilt and put it in something else. And his sister decided that she didn't really want it anymore, so she told him to sell it, and then I came along and I bought it, and it's here. So I'm pretty sure this tractor is original. That's what I was told, and that's what I'm starting to think, because it does look original to me. The green on this tractor, I know for a fact that my 312 is original. It matches the green on my 312 in all the places that it still has some green to it, and it also matches my other original tractors that I have. So. And my 212 I used to have, the green matches it. I can't look at that 212 anymore because someone painted it and I don't own it anymore. So the guy that got it off me repainted the tractor. I was going to repaint that tractor at one point, but my plan dropped, as you guys remember. I decided not to paint it since it was original. I feel like I said something about it being original to the guy that got it off me, but I can't quite remember. So yeah. But yeah, that 140 is original, which I thought was really cool. So yeah. I guess now what we need to do is we need to put some gas in this tractor and get it running. Oh, it has spark, by the way. I did test that, and I'll show you guys that real quick. The tractor... You guys probably believe me. But the tractor has spark. The engine has spark, which is good. We could actually put some gas in it right now and see if it starts just down the spark plug hole. Let me show you guys. Let me just this back up, and I have my tripod, but I don't want to put you guys in the stand right now. Let's just see. Let me show you guys this tractor has spark, so you believe me. Ready? Here we go. I don't know if you guys saw it or not. The tractor does spark. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put you guys in the stand, and once I do that, we'll throw some fuel in the spark plug hole. I know somebody's gonna ask me. I do not have the tins for up here. I need to get them. I'm currently looking. I'm not really in a rush to find them. If I find them, great. If I don't, damn. Today is actually Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday, Saturday, and then I work on Saturday, and then Sunday is the show. So I'm kind of limited to today and tomorrow, and then I can't really do anything Saturday. Friday I plan to wash the tractor. Saturday it's gonna dry while I'm at work, and Sunday we're gonna take it up to the church and show it at the show. I'm gonna wash this tractor, and I'm gonna wash my 74. I'm taking these two tractors, and Josh is taking his Sears. I believe I said that before, but I don't quite remember. I already washed this tractor. I know that you guys saw that, but I'm going to be washing it again. So yeah. Let me put you guys in the stand. We'll put some gas in the spark plug hole, and once we do that, we'll fire it up. Went in there and got my little bottle. Let's go on ahead and put some juice in this little guy. And after we do that, we'll see if he has starts. Hopefully that should be enough. Let's see if it starts. Man, if it starts, cool. I don't expect it to run because, like I said before, there is no gas in the engine at the moment. So yeah, it's more than likely not going to start. It should start, but more than likely it won't stay running. The tractor sat. The engine has sat now for roughly a year since I took it off the 68. So it might take off easy, it might not. This engine always ran, and it always ran real good. So I have no doubt this engine's gonna fire right off. So let's go on ahead and see what we get. Ready? There it goes. The rubbing, I think, is something in the shroud. I'm not sure what exactly. But yeah, as you guys saw, the engine ran, and it ran really good. I knew this engine would run. This engine always ran really good. So I think the next thing that needs to be done now is I need to get some gas. $5 a gallon. Wonderful. And after I do that, we can get the tractor going. And yeah, fuck Joe Biden. Shouldn't have any problem starting. I've never had an issue with this tractor before. Or not the tractor, this engine. So, and it was on my 68 112s, you know, so it should start and it should run. Hang on, I gotta open the door. keep that where I want it. I have to do this. That wasn't open very far, was it? Half. Half. 2. Let's go bring that half. I might end up adjusting that one. We'll see, ready? We got it. Drive on this tractor if it drives. Ready? Well, that's not good. We got to figure out what's wrong and why my belt won't stay in its place. It's not disengaging. I might have to look into that and see what I can find. It's definitely not going to start the tractor up though with it. But we might be able to get it to start if we're careful, but I can't stop. I'm going to put you guys back a little bit so you, just in case I get it going, I'm going to take it probably up and down the driveway. We'll see if I can get it to start, and if I can get it to start, I'll leave it so you guys can hear, because I'm not going to be able to shut it off. Wasn't in gear. Well, let's see if the 316 will start up. I haven't started this one in a little while. Start it up and use it to pull the trailer out.
Eskimos.
So,
Well guys, I think this is where I'm going to end the video. I wasn't going to end the video here. I was going to film taking the tractors up to the church for the show. But I kind of realized something yesterday. I didn't realize it until I was told this. Father's Day is on the 19th. Today, I believe, is the 10th. That is next Sunday, where it is not this Sunday like I thought it was, because I was told, because the way they made it sound was this Sunday, this coming Sunday, this Sunday as in the Sunday coming up now, is when this show is happening. So that's what I thought it was, and then now I'm being told it's next Sunday. So, oops. So I guess I'm going to end the video here. I got to put some covers up over the patio. That way the patio stays nice and clean. I guess I'm just going to leave the tractor sit here like this for a week. I might take the 316 back over to the shop. I might pull these back down and look at them a little further. I need to diagnose the patio still and figure out why it does not want to stop. I have not fixed that issue yet. The brakes need to be tightened on it. There's a few things that need to be done, but I just don't have the ambition right now. Like I said, I was in a time rush, but now I'm not. So if I could find anything or think of anything to do on the tractor, I could probably go on ahead and do it now. But I think this is where I'm going to end the video. I want to thank all you guys for watching. See, I put this over here, that way the thing wouldn't rub on my decals and ruin it. I want to thank all you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing the patio again. I got to see it for the first time in a while. And I will see you guys, I guess, in the next video. I guess this is going to be it. So yeah, take care. Bye. So I know you guys are probably wondering, if you follow me on YouTube where I make my posts, I said this video was going to be made or uploaded on Monday, and you're probably wondering, why are you uploading it on Monday instead of Sunday? I was going to film some of what I saw at the show. I was going to film some of the vehicles, as well as maybe if somebody else brought their tractors, I would film them as well. But yeah, apparently that's not going to happen. So I'm going to stick to my promise, and I'm going to upload this video on Monday, because I already said I was going to. Next week, when you guys watch the channel, the video will be going up on Monday. There might be a video Sunday, but I don't know. I do plan on showing off some of what I see there, because I imagine there's going to be quite a bit there. And I'll also show you guys the tractors and where I park them. So yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I hope you all enjoyed the video. And I think this is going to be it. So yeah, take care. Bye. And by the way, if you guys don't remember, this is my 1978 316, the one that we rebuilt the motor in. I want to say it did fairly good pulling that trailer. I think this is the first real job I've done with this tractor, and it actually didn't do too bad moving that trailer around. It might have been a little too heavy for it, but oh well. I'd say it didn't do too bad at all.